Hello everyone. Let us take the definition of reading a number from the user and taking the summation of all the digits in the number. Now we'll have to make an assumption that the user is entering an integer. But if the user is not entering an integer, then we'll also need to make provision for it. Now the problem is that if a user is entering a number like 1 to 3.4, and if you try to extract the last digit, then you will have a problem. And also, even if there was no fractional part, if the user is entering a negative number, then also we'll have a problem in extracting each digit and taking the summation because the stopping condition will not be easy to manage. So we'll have to provide for these two situations as well. So the first thing I'm going to do here is create a text box like this, call the value in a variable and convert it into a number, and then check for the conversion. Now we'll have to make provision for two things, that it is an integer and that it is a positive integer. So let me resolve the first thing. So the first thing we'll do is use the math.absolute on b. So if the entered number was a negative number by any chance, then it gets converted into a positive value. And the second thing that I would be making provision for is to make a check whether the entered value is an integer or not. So I've converted the value into an integer number, and immediately the next thing I would do is check whether it is an integer number or not. So if it is not an integer number, surely we'll put an alert message. Only integers are allowed. Okay, so that is done. Now, if it is an integer, then I'm going to take the summation of each of the digits. So the first thing we'll do is create a sum variable and initialize it to 0. Now what we'll do is we'll start taking the modulo division and extract the last digit and add it to our sum variable. And parallelly, we will also reduce the number by removing the last digit. So we'll do the modulo by 10 and division by 10. So at, at a certain moment, after dividing the number by 10, we will reach the 0 number, and that is what we are going to use as our stopping condition. So if b is 0, then we want to stop. So while b is not 0, I am going to execute my loop in which I'm going to take the summation of the last digit that is extracted. Okay, so that's the last digit which was extracted and it is added in the sum variable. And parallelly, I'm going to also reduce the original number by removing the last digit. So I'll take a division by 10. So hopefully when the loop is done, when the value reaches 0, I would have some value in the sum variable. So the next thing we'll do is just print, okay. So we'll just print that the total is, right, so hopefully this should work. Let us see. Okay, so I'll enter 1, 2, 3 and the total should be 6. Working fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, total is 10. I enter a 0.5. Okay, that situation is handled. I am entering a correct value but a negative value, and it is able to take the summation. So this code would probably work fine for all the inputs. You can go ahead and try this out, and we'll catch up in the next video with a new definition.